This is from NPR. They actually do some pretty interesting stuff. I talk a lot about pharmaceutical companies in my videos and the shenanigans that they pull, the dishonest practices in regarding to slanting scientific literature, publishing misleading statistics. So, I make those claims in several of my videos, and I don't know that I've really done a video breaking that down quite explicitly, but here's yet another consideration of how this works. The FDA now has an accelerated process to speed medicines to market. This is, again, a political move. Another thing you guys have all heard me rail against is the cultural need for speed that we all have. We're getting ahead of where science can actually take us. We want to know all the answers right now. And so rather than actually waiting for good data on whether a drug even works or not, we're just approving them. We didn't learn our lesson from thalidomide or so many of the other drugs that were approved, and then Xigris that were approved and then shown to actually harm patients and later pulled off the market. We decided not to learn those lessons. We just decided to forge ahead with our cultural disregard for actual data and the patience and investigation, the carefulness that is required to do good science. We just decided to accelerate, right? Because move fast and break things, except in this case, the things are people. But this accelerated approval process speeds medicines to market based on preliminary data. The drug maker needs to do an additional study after the drug is on the market to prove the drug really works. Is that not a really challenging statement? I find that statement incredibly painful, that we are actually allowing drugs onto the market when we don't know if they work. And we're hoping to find out after they're being given to people on the market whether they really work. And then, of course, drug makers have fallen behind in their commitments to do those studies. Surprise, surprise. Why would they? And so 42% of the currently outstanding confirmatory studies either took more than a year to begin or hadn't started at all. Cute graphics, whatever, don't really follow graphics. I think they can be typically very misleading. Interesting idea that, drug companies are increasing the prices of those drugs faster. I think that also speaks to the idea they have a higher, the pharmaceutical companies engage with actuaries. So I think they have every expectation that there is a higher probability that these drugs do not work and that they need to make their money faster before they end up proving that they don't work and having to be pulled off the market, or running out of the FDA's patients and the FDA pulling them off the market. It is not surprising to me that they would accelerate the process. Talking about what happened with HIV drugs in the 90s, we were approving them so fast there was no literature for doctors to look at. That's absurd. The special warnings are removing, and yet we are accelerating the accelerated approvals. We are actually doing more of this, not less, which is not surprising in today's day and age, even with the vaccine being approved in children and the 4th or 8th or 10th booster without any evidence of decreased hospitalizations or death, just being rubber stamped for non-scientific political purposes to make it seem like they're doing something. The same reason they stockpile Tamiflu, just to seem like there's action. Change might be coming. I hope so. I'm less sanguine than the writer of this article. Maybe they're a more hopeful and optimistic person than I am. I think until our culture accepts that good science takes time, and accepts that we need to emphasize quality over novelty, I think we're just going to see more and more of this same process in 1,000 different ways.